Good evening and welcome to the May 28th Administration and Public Works Committee meeting. We have a quorum. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 13th?
Move approval?
Motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to go through with the consent calendar now. A1, for action, payroll, April 29, 2019 through May 12, 2019, $2,708,964.68. A2 is for action, bills list, May 20. Yes.
I'm sorry, I was a little late. Could I just have a minute, please?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Just give me like 3 minutes.
Okay. The bills list? Yes. We are removing the bills list.
I mean, you can pass everything, but that makes it complicated to just take it off.
Okay. A3, excuse me, for action, contract award with Cully Contracting LLC for the 2019 structure lining bid. A4, contract award with J.A. Johnson Paving Company for the 2019 motor fuel tax street resurfacing projects for action. A5, contract extension with Corrective Asphalt Materials for Reclamite pavement ceilings for action. A8, purchase of Robert Crown Community Center Ice Complex and Library General Purpose Furniture from Forward Space.
Did you take that off?
Yes. A8 is removed. A9.
Did you take that off?
A9 is removed. A10, contract award with Blessing Hancock for the Robert Crown Community Center Ice Complex and Library Public Art. A11, sole source agreement with LCAS Lighting for streetlight fixtures repair. A12, approval of Great Merchant Grant Program financial assistance to the Noise and West Village business districts. A15, Resolution 15R19, appointing a director and alternative director to the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County. A16, Ordinance 37019, authorizing the city manager to execute a sale contract for city-owned real property located at 1824 Emerson Street. A17, Ordinance 48019, amending the city code to establish a four-way stop control at the intersection of Brown Avenue and Noy Street. May I have a motion to approve the
So
consent?
moved.
Second.
The consent passes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, perfect. Items for consideration. A6, contract award with, I'm removing this one, A6. A7, okay, perfect. So may I have a motion?
For what,
For
A6?
what?
A6,
Move
to move approval?
Move approval. Move approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I had a couple of questions about this, and most of them were answered. I do have a final question about how we award and getting some clarity on if we have a point advantage for local businesses. In awarding bids.
Honored members of the committee, my name is Laura Biggs. I'm the city engineer. So by ordinance, if it's a bid project with a low bid award, then there is, you award to the Evanston business unless they're more than 5% higher than the lowest bid, in which case you award to the lowest bid. But when we are contracting for professional services, and we use the request for proposal, and in this case we did because we need the contractor to be a little bit more of an active partner than we normally do, then in this particular case, MWEBE becomes a selection criteria that's considered with the other selection criteria. So on this project, it was 10 points, which happens on quite a lot of the projects. Out of approximately 100 points go towards MWEBE compliance.
Okay. That satisfies my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion on A6? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A7, construction bid award with Hacienda Landscaping Incorporated for garden, park, and playground renovations.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a question.
Alderman Fleming?
Yeah, I'm going to support this, but I would like throughout this, or before this project is finished, that we continue to reassess the parking over there. It's the beach that's closest to, obviously, South Evanston, and every summer there are residents who have frustrations with the limited parking that's not restricted either for, residents on that block or just with kind of tight time restrictions. So if we're going to put $500,000 into park renovations, I would like it to be more accessible to everyone in the city.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. A13, approval of funding for 12-month period for Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's for action.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Me.
Oh, Alderman Fleming.
Yeah. So I think I continue to have questions about this. It's never clear enough for me what we receive for our $84,000. I know that we received some advertising. I'm just haven't gotten quite clear the numbers in terms of what we received back. in terms of tourism dollars. I know that, the hotels, from my understanding, all the local hotels also pay a piece or pay to advertise or be part of this bureau. And I guess I'm just not sure, given our tight finances, how beneficial this is for our citizens, considering that's tax dollars that maybe could be used somewhere else. So I asked Paul Zamazek, and I'm assuming you're the executive director who is going to be here to answer the question?
Yes. Hi, my name is Gina Speckman. I'm Executive Director of Chicago's North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau. And the investment that Evanston makes is, I think it's about $83,000. That's our request for this year. We have a $1.87 million budget, and the whole point is for the state assesses a 6% hotel tax, and Evanston has a 7.5%. And the goal, I think, for municipalities in the state is to grow the hotel tax because it's a great tax. It's not paid for by residents. It's paid for by out-of-towners. So we benefit the hotels, but not really tourists. Evanston has a lot of events and meetings in the hotels, and the business leads that we send for group business is about 70% of what we do in Evanston. It's, it seems like it's for tourists, but really the hotels thrive on the group business that is booked into the hotels. So we send them business leads for business that they would not know about were it not for our efforts from our sales department. And that's the crux and the most of what we do. We also do advertising. We're also very active in social media. We support the restaurants, the retailers, the service businesses that are members in Evanston. And the metrics, that we outside of the hotel occupancy and revenue per available room and the other metrics we measure, we have a really strong membership base of Evanston businesses besides hotels that pay us year in and year out to be part of us, and that's our ROI. I don't think they would part with their hard-earned dollars if they didn't see a return on that investment.
So you provide the hotels with business leads?
Yes.
Who they then call whatever meeting, convention, business to say, hey, we're a great hotel, come stay with us.
Yes, what happens is there's some people that know Evanston, they'll call the hotel directly, but a lot of planners don't know what we have to offer. They come to Chicago, they might come to Rosemont, they don't know what we have and who we are. We meet with them, we go to trade shows, we bring them and pay for them to come here, and then they issue leads, RFPs for business, and those are leads that the hotels would not get on their own means. Then the hotel bids on it. A meeting planner doesn't want to have to call all the hotels individually, so we vet it as a legitimate piece of business for those properties, and so when they get it, it is a very authentic lead, and they very much rely on those leads.
Do you have any information regarding how many leads you provide and how much business that turns into?
Yes, we provide the leads. We don't, it's up to the hotels to get the bookings, and sometimes hotels may not book a regional conference this year, they'll book it 2 years later. So, and sometimes they don't have the availability at the time of the lead, but they want that contact. So because we are not the closers of the business, we only measure our leads to the hotels. And it was about 491. I have it in a document if you want it.
Yeah, that would be helpful because I know, again, I've asked these questions before, and it's,
Sure.
We have limited funds here, and particularly dollars that, as you said, are not generated necessarily by the taxpayer, but they could go into other things. It's a little bit difficult for me to understand the value if I don't have the numbers in front of me. So if you do have something I could read, that would be great.
Sure. I mean, the hotel tax I know on the state side increased 13% from year over year, so Evanston's had to have two because they assess tax and you do too. So I'm saying our grant was 13% higher this year. That meant that collections of the state was 13% higher. So that's our goal on the municipal level, on the state level. They want more hotel tax, and we're part of making that happen.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any further, Alderman Rainey?
We increased our number of hotel rooms, did we not, over the past few years?
Yes, with Hyatt.
How has that worked out?
It's worth,
Do you keep track of that? Do you keep track of occupancy?
Oh, we just had a hotel committee meeting at the Hilton Garden Inn last week. We, every month, keep track of occupancy, average daily rate, and revenue per available room, and then we index ourselves against all the other suburban areas around Chicago who are our main competition. So we totally keep on track with that.
So unfortunately, this past week, we had to cancel our economic development meeting where they were going to present because we didn't have a forum. But we were sitting here but didn't get a presentation. I know, but I didn't read everything. So what did you find out? I mean, what's the latest? Can you just give us, just briefly, can you give us the latest?
And just in terms of the Hyatt being added?
No, just
Or in general
terms
of
the
overall what we do?
Just like
I'll
three
be,
or four
okay,
sentences.
I'll be very quick.
How are we doing?
We're doing really well. Our numbers, as I said, our numbers, we got a grant that increased by 13%. As you know, each municipality assesses a different percent of hotel tax, but we're growing. We have had competition. Chicago has added a lot of hotel rooms. We've had to do a lot more work. To that end, we used our incremental grant money this year to add a salesperson, and we now offer an incentive program. So the Evanston hotels can now tap into a program when they're putting together a package to bid on a piece of business, and we give incentives. And they're higher incentives during the winter, which is our down season for business. So those are two new things that have happened in the last year since we were here. I mean, Evanston, because when it added the Hyatt, the Hyatt's done very well. Evanston's a major driver for business on the North Shore, so every incremental room that doesn't come here goes to the other neighboring communities, so it's done really well in adding that property. And also because people want new properties.
But did we see a downturn in the older properties here? Because I just read that the Orrington is renovating.
Every hotel's renovating, and their brands make them renovate.
Yeah.
They have a very strict guidelines. Each brand has its own list of things you have to do to maintain your brand, and they all renovate. They want to be competitive in the market.
So you're doing well, but my question really was, are the hotels doing well?
The hotels are doing well. The hotels have a lot of competition with the city of Chicago, which added 8,000 rooms in the last 3 years. And they added a lot of hotel rooms by McCormick Place, and that has meant that we have to up our game. That's why we added the incentive program. And we really highlight the things that we have to offer. We have much more affordable parking than downtown, but we've had to gear our market towards competing against more inventory in the city. But we're holding our own now, but we've had to adjust what we do.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you. No further questions. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. A14, Resolution 15R19, authorizing the city manager to apply for Highway Safety Improvement Program grant funds. It's for action.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So James' item is not on the agenda, so
What number are we on?
no, it's not any topic on the agenda. Okay, I'll do it now. Okay, we're going to have public comment. We have one signed up, Mr. James Engelman. Good evening, James.
Good evening. Good evening, Alderman. I'm James England from the Fifth Ward. A group of, and I'm from Hill Arboretum, and a group of us, people who live there, are in wheelchairs, and we were going to the Patrick Park, and we were going under to that near the picnic tables, and we noticed that only two people could go by the table because on one side and then on the other side. But the benches, if you guys remove the bench that's connected to the table, it would be very helpful for us, for the disabled people in wheelchairs, because we cannot get to the table. And that's what I'm about to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Good point.
We're going to move on to the bills list, A2. Bills list, May 29, 2019, $4,115,497.64.
Move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, I just,
Motion passes. I think she got it answered. Yeah. A8, purchase of Robert Crown Community Center Ice Complex and Library General Purpose Furniture from Forward Space for action.
second, I have.
Any discussion? Alderman Rainey?
So I realize that this is the initial purchase of a whole lot of furniture, like $400,000 worth of furniture. However, I just, the issue of using capital bond money to purchase furniture, I get it for the beginning, but I've always had concerns about purchasing furniture with capital money. And I also have a concern, I'm going to pass on that issue right now, but I have a concern, how do we keep track of commingling this money with library money? How are we doing that? This is a library. The library is not city money. How are there, these are just general obligation bonds. Where's the library money in here?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Erica Storley, Assistant City Manager. So we've been closely tracking the expenses related to the library portion of the project. As you know, the library is bonding $2.5 million for this project, and they have already borrowed those funds, and they are available for us to use. So basically how we're tracking it is each one of the furnitures and fixtures and equipment. So any of the furniture that is for the library, we've got a price on it, and then we're also tracking all of the other equipment. So for example, networking, computer equipment, things like that. There's computers that are specifically for the library, and then there's networking equipment that enables the entire facility. So the library is paying a portion of all of the overall equipment, and then they're paying for their portion of the equipment that's actually going to their space. So if they go over the threshold of what they've borrowed, then we will come back to the council for a conversation about how we want to proceed. But right now, we haven't gone over that threshold, so we're just continuing to monitor and note how the separation of expenses moves forward.
I mean, I understand that it makes more sense to include them in the purchase, but I just want to make real sure that.
Yeah, I totally understand. The budget for the furniture is very tight, and I asked the same question myself to make sure that the portion of the allotted funds for the furniture was commensurate with what we needed to buy as well for the city portion of the building.
All right, that goes for 8 and 9, so. Madam Chair.
Thank you. So for 8, did we get all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So I still need to read 9 since we took it
I move
off.
approval
Thank you.
of A9.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A9 passes.
Is there a visual of, I know we already handled it, is there a visual of A10? I didn't see it. I couldn't click it. I'm not-
Yes, there is a picture in the packet.
I didn't see it.
Although there is still ongoing discussion with the Arts Council and the artist over what the final product will look like, it is going to be substantially similar to what you see in the packet.
Are there any items for discussion or communication?
Nope, there are not.
A motion for adjournment?
Move adjournment. You got a second, Ann? You got a
Second.
Thank you. So moved.
We are adjourned.
We are adjourned. Thank you.